Please subscribe, comment, share and like this video. I will bring the truth about our people. Rest in sweet peace, Kevin Samuels. A man who truly has a heart for his people and not like the GalaxyAFiWe presenters and for Rose, the manslayer.
Mind the gap. Mind the gap. Okay, good afternoon to you, dear listeners. I'm inside the house. Pakamba by Nana Prakamba by inside the house. We say a big rise goes out to Nana Bonsu, Nana the Prophet. Wonderful show as usual, my brother. And of course, we can't forget Dr. Abu. You know, those two brothers of crank up the handle and take your Sunday morning into the afternoon. And so I need to take the baton from these brothers as we have to continue with this relay that we are running. And so we pass the baton, and we hope when we pass the baton, the next presenter will continue with the journey that we are traveling on right about now. Very important, very, very important in what we are going through as a nation of people. As we do not even know ourselves. We are because we are, and because we are, therefore I am. And that's very important. Very, very important. And if you kind of really sit back and go through the wording, small, try and absorb it and see how important those words are to our development as a nation of people. Rise up. Let me say a big African rise goes out to all of the ones and ones who are listening to Galaxy right about now around the world, and those silent listeners who are there. And I forgot to rise my brother who last Friday, after I left the studio, I finished my Friday program, not this Friday, last Friday, because we weren't doing it this Friday in the studio. You knew where we were. But the brother who I met, I stopped off at the shop to buy something, and there we were. And he said I should give him a rise. He said, I'm a silent listener. We have never spoken. I've seen you, and I rise you, but this is the first time we're actually, having words. And I said, no. I said, you always rise me whenever time you see me on the street. And I said, rise up, my brother. Didn't take your name, an African brother from the continent, but we rise it to the maximum. And it's inspiring, inspirational when we have our brothers and sisters from the continent who partake in the work that we are doing. It shows you that we are joining the dot. Do you, I don't know if you used to play that game, Tic-Tac-Toe, where you join the dot. Very interesting game as well. Very educational. And so we are joining the dot as we link with our brothers and our sisters that linking with us on the continent. It's not only for African who are in the so-called West or the carriers beyond. It's not. It's for every jack one of us as African that we're working to galvanize and to network with each other. We have to do that. And they're part of the community that we are not really joining at the moment. They're part of the community, the African community, the blacks, Africans in this country that still, some of them are still segregating themselves away from us. Some may think that we are a bit outspoken, but if you're not outspoken, you're not going to get nowhere. And you have to say it as it is. And I'm not going to be apologetic, as many of us are so apologizing. I don't want no African brother, no African sister to apologize for when I openly say how I feel. Don't. And I can speak from experience, those that I work with at my workplace, those feel a little bit embarrassed when I speak openly. Suddenly they want to talk about football, or suddenly they hold their head down and something more important on their phone that they're looking onto. Or rather they look on their phone and pay attention than get involved. As most of them doesn't get involved because they're afraid to get involved, because they're ashamed of themselves Because they're not ashamed of me. They're ashamed of themselves. But I ain't ashamed of no one to speak out. This strong at my workplace, we see something and, everyone give I the praise for it. I said, no. Don't praise I for it. It could have been worse. And I didn't know anything about it until when I got in. And I walked in and they started to look at me. And I said, what happened? They said, you're going to jump out of your skin. I said, what is it? They said, when you go in, read the notice board. I got in and there was a letter on the notice board about Pride Week. And the company telling us what Pride Week is all about. I don't want to know that. But the reason why the company is doing that, it is because last year, I came here last year and I told you what happened last year. We had created a hell of a fight inside there. Listen to me, all my clothes was bursting off. I went crazy. I said I didn't know I was working for a homosexual gay company. And I said, why didn't you tell me when I came for the interview? This is what was told to me, and I didn't know. And if this so be it, then I don't want to be part of this company. I said, I don't want to be part of this company. You tell me who you are, and I walk away, because when I came here, I didn't came here knowing this. They had a flag. They had two flags. They had one on a flagpole, and they had one, as you walked in, one inside there. Management said, okay, Bongo, all that you can do, hear it and, and we feel what you're saying. So you need to send an email, ASAP. Anyway, one of the managers rang high during my working period, and he said, not a he, she said, we have taken up your concern, and we've spoke to management at the top, and they would like it in email. I said, but I'm working. They said, okay, how soon can you get it? I said, all right, I will do it in my break time. Now, I don't send email, as you know, I don't send email. And I called one of the colleagues I work with, which was white, and I said I would like to send an email. And I asked the individual to send me the email address that I supposed to send it to of the manager. And they sent me the email address, and I get my work colleague to assist me to put the email of my concern about this Pride Week, at what it was and how I feel about it. No form of consultation to us, and suddenly we're walking and there's flag right in our face. I'm not in for that. And so the next day I went in, they called me and I said, okay, Bongo, blah, 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 we apologize, blah, 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 blah. And they took one of the flag down. The other one that was on the flagpole took nearly the entire strong before they took that one down. So this year now, they didn't put up any flag. There was no flag, only the letter that put into the notice board. And everyone says to me, Bongo, it's because of you. I said, so be it. But you have to say what you have to say. And even though some of them there, as Europeans, stroke white, mumble underneath their breath, point it out, they don't like it, this time they still come to me and said, you need to speak out. And I said to one of them, why isn't you speaking? And they said, oh, if we speak out, it's going to be seen as racist. I said, why is it going to be as racist? What is it? Why is it going to be as racist? Oh, you have got more say. I said, no, I haven't got any more say than what you have got. I said, you can do exactly what I'm doing, and you have got a right to speak out just like I'm speaking out. And so that's where it is. So, and plus, the Africans who were there, or who are there, not one of them say anything about it. Not one. Not one of the Africans at my workplace stood up and said, we don't want that flag to be there. The Europeans speak out, but at the same time they ask me, because they realize that I don't mince my words. I speak fast, but whatever I said, they overstand it. And this is where we are today. So I don't want anyone to apologize for me when I stood up. There was one time I went into my workplace and we were out very late in the evening, until about 4:30, 5 o'clock, listening on the radio, and there was some problem. And so they asked us to stay out as long as we could to finish the work. And so we decided, okay, we will stay out and finish the work. Then I heard on the radio where they were calling everybody else, asking them if they were okay. No phone call didn't come to I. And I went in, and they were there. Management were there, but 6 of them was inside the office. And I said, so here I am. I'm the last one in. And I've listened to the radio, and everyone was asked on the radio if they were okay. So what happened? Why is it no one doesn't ask if I was all right? Isn't that my radio working inside the lorry as well? I said, let me tell you something. Slavery done. Me say long time, me say slavery done, and none only I can beat my backside for me to say this. There's an African sister was inside there. She's no longer there because of when slavery biting her backside, she have to run away from there. Was working in the office. And let me tell you something, listeners. My African sister was sitting upright in the chair when I got into the office. And when I finished, I didn't see her head. The sister slid down in the chair because she felt embarrassed for me of what I said. But I didn't feel embarrassed because they took note. They took note. Today, when I open my mouth, they listen. Because I say what is interesting, I say what is important, and I say what need to happen and how I feel what need to be done. They came to me on Wednesday. They said, would you like to become union rep? I said, no, I don't want to become a union rep. And they've been asking me on a constant basis. Last year they asked, the year before they asked. I said, no, I don't want to. And I know personally if I take this on, yes, I will get things done. But I will be always in constant fight with management. Because a lot of things that's happening in my workplace shouldn't be happening and no one take responsibility. It's no accountability. But if something go wrong, it falls back on you. Because the union, what we have got, supportively, it is weak. Not because the union itself is weak, but the representation are weak. And they came and said to me, you need to do this. You know, I said, I don't want to. You know how. And the reason why they're pressuring I, because they realize that here is somebody who is strong. Quiet, but strong. And I'm not going to be quiet when I'm going to see that you're sitting on my bloody neck or standing on my foot. I'm going to tell you plainly, standing on my foot, get off my foot. I am going to tell you to get off my foot. Where some of us will absorb it or turn the other cheek for something to happen. I ain't turning no other cheek. I ain't turning no other cheek. The first job I had when I came out of the army was working as a security at the Iranian embassy. One of the first organization in Britain away from the airport that have one of those, we call it machine. When you go to the airport, you go through it. First company should have one of those. Here in Iranian embassy, right there in Victoria. Beside the Queen, whatever it is, all that they've got. Mm-hmm. And that's where the Iranian embassy is. Place full of more camera than you can think about. That's the first place that had more camera than what they had in the street here in Britain. Everywhere was camera. And camera wasn't as it is here in the street, but I mean, yes, but they're very secure. And they only employ military person or person with a background from police force. So all the people you see walking inside there, they're from military background or ex-police officers. So yes, they were good enough, and they said, yes, you can get a job. And so one day I was at the front desk, and I was there for about 18 months before I had my first incident. An individual that we know very well, working there, and he comes in, he know the rule, open your suitcase, there's a desk, you put your suitcase or briefcase or whatever it is, whatever luggage you have, and we have a look into it, and then you go through the detector. If the detector buzz as it does, and we'll actually search you, ask for a search, and we'll give you a pat down. Female, we pat down the female, and so be it. On this day, this individual came in, maybe he had a bad night or whatever he had, never know of him smoking or drinking. An elderly person. And he came in and I said, good morning to you, sir, whatever his name was. And I said, can I have a look at in your briefcase? And he said, no. So he put his case aside. I said to him, you know the rules. Can I have a look at your case? And he picked up the case, decided to walk through the detector with the case, and I blocked him. And you know what he did? He held the case in front of him, right up to his face, and he used the case and bumped me in my forehead with it. Yes! Oh my goodness. No, I'm security. He hit me in my forehead with his case. Now, dear listener, what do you think I did? Did I turn the back of my head and tell him to hit me in the back of my head, or turn it somewhere else and tell him to hit me there? No, I did not. I take my fist to the back as far as I could take it, and I extend it. And I'm not lying to you. About 200 foot down the road, him fall. He tumbled from here with him suitcase tumbling all the way down. I never noticed that these people were so damn weak. And I didn't realize my strength until my left hand, my right hand come from back to forward. I never realized I thumped him down. Oh, and it was a big fuss inside the place and a big applaud. Now, a white man hit me in front of everybody. And I shouldn't hit him back. I thumped down your backside. Who? Me? No. I ain't taking it. I am not one of those people going to sit down there, being chief or non-chief. Yes, there's certain protocols that I have to go through now. Maybe if I was a chief then or a nana then, I don't know what would have happened. I don't know what I would have done. I don't know. I don't know what would have happened now. I know what would happen now. I know what would have happened now. But that time, you're going to hit me? And I said, so what am I here for? How do we know that this man didn't have something in his case? And they suspend I. But they suspend I with full pay. I was suspended for nearly 8 months. Didn't mind. Still getting pay. Then all the investigation went through and this individual decided that he's not going to press any charges because there were camera footage of what he did. They went and they viewed the camera footage, look at it, see it. I went to see a solicitor. Solicitor said, there's nothing for you to worry about. You have got camera footage to show. At that time, there was no such thing as data protection. Solicitor went in, asked to see the footage. He was shown the footage, came back and he said, don't worry about it. They're thinking about it, what to do. But nothing for you to worry about. They're paying you still. As long as they're paying you, nothing to worry about it. When the time comes, they will inform you and we take it from there. 9 months down the line, we got a letter inviting me back for an interview. Oh, we viewed it and we decided to the charges have been dropped. We're not going to put in a charge against you, but you're going to put you on probation. Are you prepared to continue to work for the company? I said, no, I don't want to work for the company anymore. And during that period of time of 8 months, I've already went out and make sure I start seek employment. And I find other employment so that whenever time, whatever they're going to do to me, I'm already prepared. But the moral of the story is, in this time to where we are today, as Africans, and what we have gone through, are we going to still sit back and be brutalized by those who doesn't look like us because they think they've got the right? Something happened, and I know that it's going to blow up, and it's going to be about me again. And I'm going to give you a small hint. You know, some years ago, I had this European who drank on the truck, and I was suspended. And I told you all about it. And he was being sacked. And they all are responsible. And I pointed out to them and I said, I can't see everything. In spite of the fact you've got all these cameras, how many cameras can I view at the same one time and make sure that I'm secure while I'm driving forward? How do I do that? I said, the cameras, they are aid. But how do I see everything that's happening around me at the same time when other vehicles are coming towards you and you're moving slowly across along the road? Anyway, I won all the cases that was placed against me. Another one is coming up. Another one is coming up, and I will have to deal with that. And it's about another European, and I will have to take responsibility. And I will take responsibility, and I will deal with that. And I can assure you, I ain't going to be responsible because I'm not there in the workplace to babysit nobody. You're a big grown-ass backside man. You take responsibility of your action, of what you have done. Don't point it on to me. And no workplace can tell me that I'm responsible for you when you go out of the way and do something you shouldn't have done. Not my responsibility. I can point it out to you. The only thing that I'm supposed to do that I did not do, I did not go back in the company and report what happened. That is what I have to defend. That's what I have to go and defend, the fact that you have done something and the responsibility to come on I. When you think that in your own mind what you did was right. But I will tell you more about that because we have to face what we have to face in a few days coming. But it's a vibration to where we are as African people. It's a vibration to where we are as African people. And I rise up all ones and ones who attend our parent and ancestral day. I rise it to the maximum. It's wonderful. And I rise up Dr. Abu. I rise up Dr. Abu. I tell you why I rise him. I rise him for more reason than one. And when you've got a calling, there's nothing you can do. You can't change that calling that you've got. It's, and I ask many a time, what is our worth? What are we here for? You wake up in the morning, do you give thanks to the ancestors to give you the strength and save you to see another day? Some of us don't do that. But we're here for a particular reason. Those of us who are not here for a reason, we're taken out. Because they said, your time has come, you didn't do what you're supposed to do, so bye-bye. Let's take you back to somewhere else, to the unknown. But those of us who are here, still here, we're here for a reason. So let's make every day count, because it's very important. The day I met Dr. Abu, I met the brother twice in one day. I was going into a building, he was coming out of the building. I would just look at each other and hail each other. Don't know the man, never met him before, never heard of him, he never heard of I. Then I was coming back out of the building, he was coming into the building. And I said, brethren, this is a sign, Because when I was coming out of the building, when I was coming in, you was coming out. Now I'm going out, you're coming in. He said, what are you doing in my building? I said, Rastafari. Mr. Brethren, I'm doing a thing, I'm running a radio station inside here. He said, inside there, sir? I said, yes. He said, how long? I said, quite some time. He said, but I've never seen you there before. I said, well, there you go. But now you're seeing I now. I said, do you know anything about music? He said, no. I said, well, I'm looking for some presenter. He said, yeah, well, no. I don't play music as you like I to play music, but I will come and spin some tune. So I said, fair enough. So I met Dr. Abu. And we've been with each other now for nearly, over 30 years. Not saying everything Dr. Abu does and everything I do, vice versa, we agree. But we agree to disagree, and we can still hold that friendship. Whether we're here in Galaxy or we're out there in the street, we still support and fight back to back with each other. And I rise that brother. And the same thing with the Prophet. The Prophets and I fell out. We fell out nearly fighting like fists. But you know what? There was a certain connection between the Prophet and I. Today, we're the best of friends. Out of the blue, he'll ring I and say, Nana, you all right? The Prophet ring I more often than I ring him to ask I how I am. That's the connection that we have. And it's very important for us to have that connection. And I rise up Mama Win, and I'm going to tell you why Dr. Abu is important. I rise up Mama Win. I didn't see Mama Win at the Parent and Ancestral Day. And I said, no, this is not right. And today I rang Mama Win. I said, Mama Win, didn't get her. And left a message. I said, Mom, is everything okay? And she rang her back and she said, Nana, I am fine. There's a vibration, and I get a vibration that I have to do what needs to be done, and I could not stay. And when the ancestors give you a calling, you have to go by what the ancestors said. So I can only come and deliver. So those of you who have had your cake and it was tasted nice, Mama Win prepared the cake. She said, I could not stay, but I went back home and I listened to the vibration on the radio. Rise up goes out to you, Mama Win. And I miss Mama Hyacinth because of the illness. Mama Hyacinth would have been with us. Rise up to you. Brother B over there in East London. Brother into a wheelchair. When I got there, he was sitting on outside. Another Empress, one of the sister, Empress, a Rasta sister, so sis, I cannot even remember your name, but Rastafari blessing goes out to you. And the sister was there from early. Sister Dan was there from early. At that time I just came back from the plantation to go and deliver a microphone to SG. And those sisters were there. But let me go back to Dr. Abu. We were here one of the many years when Britain was cold and lonely. And Africans were still having the problem that we are still having today. And they had some snow. Many ones who haven't seen snow as it is then. We don't see snow as we used to see snow, The sun don't bother fall because plenty black people are here to brighten up the place and bring some eating to the place. So we don't see snow like we used to see snow before. And so we were off for about a week, those of us who were working. And we're here in the studio. Those days, you come to Galaxy Studio 24/7, it was always full with presenters and food will always be here. And so that day, snow fell and we're here in the studio. And there were ones and ones we were broadcasting. And I said, you know what, the sister rang me and said, you know, we're here when we haven't got food. And I went and I prepared some food, prepared some porridge. And I went to 3 homes because I had a 4x4. And I went through and I delivered the food. And the following year, Dr. Abu said, Dr. Abu, what are we going to do? Dr. Abu said, you know something, brethren? You remember what you did last year? And I said, he said, you remember what you did last year? And I said, can't remember. I said, I've done something. He said, the day that we were in the studio and the snow fell, you remember what you did? I said, I went and I did bring some food. He said, yes. He said, this year, let's do it for our parents. Let's do it for our parents. So we remember our parents and our ancestors. What you did is so potent that we have to start venerate, remember them. Because what you did is very important. And that's the way parents and ancestral days started. And so we start doing it inside the studio. And we realized that listeners been calling up. We came back in a year and we started to talk about it. And listeners started to say, how come you have something like that and you don't tell us? Because the studio used to so ram out that we realized that, no, we have started off something that we can't keep doing it here. We decide we're going to take it out of the studio. And so hence to where we've got it. This year is one of the smallest we have had because the venue was still small. So just imagine as someone rang up the prophet and said, we should have been advertising it more. I did it. And I'm sure many have, but many did not. And show the importance of Parents and Ancestral Day. But we don't remember them. We don't remember them. We don't want to remember them. Those who came here and set the foundation. Those who came here and gone through the heart of racism. When they came, there was no black, no Irish, no dogs. Those who were here and they have to use one room for 3 or 4 of them in one room, sleep in one bed. And so they work it out among themselves that job was easy to find at the time. You could have, when I came to this country, you could have walked out of one job and walked into the next one tomorrow. That's how easy it was for job. When I came out of the army, there was so much job. I was saying to the sister I spoke to last night, I was speaking to a sister, the one who told me that it's since she started to listen to Galaxy, she started to go out with black men. When we came here, there was no central eating. So what these Africans used to do when they came here, they work out a strategy between themselves that, okay, it's 2 of us inside this house or 3 of us inside this house. We're using the same one bed. So guess what? Either one of us will work in the day and 2 work at night, or 2 work in the day and 1 work at night, because we're using one bed. So they keep the bed warm. So the moment one comes out of the bed and it's time for another one to join the bed. And they used to work clockwork. That bed is always warm. Because it was on damn central heating. They was using paraffin, we call it in Jamaica, kerosene oil, to warm the place, a little coal fire that they have. And the coal fire that they have couldn't even warm them because some of them was living sky high up into the sky that the heat wouldn't even reach them. But I don't blame them. I don't blame them for not telling you what they have gone through. And you don't know that you don't know that you don't know. So you'll always want to put that behind you because you don't know it. You know, when I was saying to the sister last evening, she and I had a good chat. And it's so beautiful. And I said, sis, there were times. I said, there were times within our African culture, within our African realm, down there in Mama Africa, where African women, like your mother, were breastfeeding white babies. She said, what? I said, yes. She didn't know that. I said, the European would make sure to find a mother who's pregnant and who got a young baby. They will take away that young baby. Sometimes they murder that young baby. Moms still have got the breast milk, and they will place the European child with that mom, with your mom, for your mom to suckle that baby. She said, I didn't know that. I said, yes, sis. And there are many more you will learn. She didn't know that. And there are many Africans from the continent who, like her, wouldn't know half of what we are now speaking about here in Galaxy. So when we speak about the importance of Parents and Ancestral Day, it's good for us to come and remember them, the hell that they went through. Those who have died here, those who have buried here. Don't you remember them? Call their names. Let them know that you remember them, and give thanks for what they went through for you and I benefit. We may not think it's the bread of gold now because we know it's not. But just imagine, and we are not talking about racism. We are now speaking about racism. Just imagine what they went through. Just imagine what they went through. And there are many out there today who have listened to us talking about Parents and Ancestral Day, who could have turned up, but you didn't turn up. But it's not about the numbers, the quality of people who are there, because they see the importance of memory, to memorize and to tell your children what it was like when you came here, what you went through when you came here. And if many of us tell our children what we went through, you know, yesterday I was walking down to Peckham yesterday, because one of my young daughter came to see her yesterday as well, and there was a little bit of an accident. And we had to go and buy a bits and pieces for her. And so I said, okay. And I was walking down through Peckham, and I saw two beautiful African sisters, young sisters. I don't think they're sisters. And they're walking towards me. Well, I mean, the sun wasn't burning, but it was a beautiful Saturday afternoon. And they was walking towards me, and they have two, like a belly thing skirting on, just reach them underneath their breasts. So you can see the stomach, the belly was hanging out. But their dress wasn't that bad. Their dress was good. They had a good dress, but it's summer as far as they're concerned, and they're exposing themselves because that's how they feel. You know what I saw? Both of them have got navel ring into their navel. On top of that, both of them walking towards me with two white men in their hand. And I said, look at that. Now, if we as African people did keep on telling our children what we have gone through, don't you think the message would have gone through to them, so they know the importance of being with each other as a nation of people, African to African? We can't stop them, but we need to let them know what we have gone through. Let them make their mind up and say, okay, it's for me to decide. But I bet you're going to ask them some of what their parents have gone through when they came here. They can't tell you because they haven't been told. The African brother who put his arm around my neck because he was going on with a European woman decided to strangle me. And I said, brethren, I'm not going to fight you, you know. I said, I'm not going to fight you because I'm not going to fight you. I said, you're going to fight me for that? I said to him. And he told me to F off. And you know what she said? She was the one who drove him. I went into a car park. He was coming out of the parking bay while I was driving in the car park. And just by a wicker, his car just come and just rest on the side of my car. I said, brethren, don't you ever look and see where you're going? I said, come on, brethren, I've got the right of way. I'm driving in, you're driving out. You need to look because you're coming out of a secluded area that you can't see. It's a concealed area. Other cars are blocking the side, so you come back as slowly as possible. But at the same time, it wasn't him. She jumped out of the car and came in. Where did you look where you're going? I said, listen, I'm talking to you. I said, shut up, I'm talking to you. So he came out. And as he came out, she says to him, are you going to allow him to speak to me like that? She says to him. What the Rastafari did I says? I said, you're not the driver, I said to her. I'm talking to you. And then she says to him, are you going to allow him to speak to me like that? The black man been commanded, as we are now being commanded by them. And he wanted to come and kill me for her. Today, 2022, it is still happening because they are commanding each other. And this is part of what I have to face in a couple of days' time, because I have to take responsibility of what a European did. We don't tell our children what we gone through. Let me rise up Sister Angie from Aga. Sis, the ancestral spirit is with you. You know, Sister Angie came to the studio early this morning and she said, Nana, the ancestors have directed me to come here and I would not feel comfortable if I didn't come and see you this morning. A vibration. And she walked in, she said, I've got something for you. And she walked into the studio and she put 40 pounds in my hand. She said, I feel better. She said, I can breathe a breath of relief, fresh air. I spoke to my husband and I said, when I came on Friday, what I should have done, but I didn't do it. And I haven't been sleeping very well because it was on my head, because the ancestral strength asked me to do something and I didn't do it when I should have done it. So I'm coming to do it today. And let me say thank you very much to my beloved brother. And before I say thanks to the brother, let me say thank you all for your donation that you've donated to Galaxy. We have collected 520 pounds, excluding the 40 pounds that Sister Angie gave me this morning. So we have got 560 pounds that we have collected. And just before we close, a brother came in from 218. My brother, I don't know if it's 218 or what. You didn't say 218 what? And the brother put 100 pounds in my hand. He said, this is for Galaxy. So my brother, thank you very much for the donation that you have given us. So we end up with 560 pounds. We appreciate that for your support and how you've been supporting us, because it's important for us to show the strength for each other, for what we have to do and what we are doing to venerate our ancestors and those who are still here who haven't got the voice. Calling you on Galaxy. Good afternoon to you.
I'll come by.
Brother Ever, good afternoon. Good afternoon, my brother. Rise up.
Yes. Sarah, I missed it on Saturday.
Yes, your camera would have been important. Yes.
Yeah, it would have been excellent, you know. But due to certain circumstances, still. What you've just mentioned a while ago, it's so true. A lot of us are kind of, you know, where we are totally brainwashed, you know, in not knowing what our parents went through back in the 50s, 60s in this country. Yeah, and I have to stem from that side. Now, I face the same problem too of you, and this is a Jamaican too, you know. This is a Jamaican. We were talking about the celebration about the local queen or whatever matter about, and somebody said to me, you know, I celebrate the queen. I said, me? You cannot look on a man like me and tell me that. Does she look like me? I left my queen in my yard. Who tell me if you don't say that? The person said to me, then what are you doing in this country? I said, I beg your pardon. What kind of message that you're saying to me? What am I doing in this country? You want me to educate you? And then I said to her, look, do you know anything about your ancestors? She says, oh, most of the killing done by black people. I said, I beg your pardon? I mean, most of the killing done. So who instigated that? Yeah. And then I didn't really stretch it as how I want to stretch it. because you're working in the environment. So I said to her then, all right, so you forget about your ancestors then. She says, oh, that was long time. You mean that was long time? So all right then, tell me something. What about the Jews? Did they forget about what went through on their ancestors? She could not answer. So coming back to what you just said, enough of our people are not being educated about what our parents went through back in the days and what they had to face. You see, because they're celebrating this white woman, right? Who's benefit from our ancestors and our parents. See, so if they were educated about themselves, do you think she would have come up with something like that?
Not
Talk
at all.
to me.
Not at all. You're so right. You're so right.
Exactly.
And my brother, one of the things, and yesterday I heard it on one of the media, and it's in the newspaper, and many have seen it, and they're now taking that as how important it is for black people in this country, is that picture that they have got with this African stroke black man. I don't know if he's black or he's African or whoever he is. But there's this...
Is that the one that dressed in the union?
The one of the Union Jack, he went out and make a special suit. Even his glasses.
Idiot, man. He's a total idiot. This is what I'm trying to say about the brainwash thing, but carry on.
Even his glasses, my brother, he's got his glasses, he's got his hat, he's got his suit, he's got his tie. Now, brother, ever people like those, whenever time they need to speak about what happened to us, they'll be going to someone like him.
Absolutely.
The question I want to pose to my listeners this afternoon, before you go, my brother, what is it as an African why we show so much patriotism to Britain? What it is as an African why we show so much patriotism, me can't pronounce the damn word, to Britain?
Well, Nana, let me tell you something. There was an interesting program on the Tele TV earlier this morning, and they were talking about reparation. And there were two people of color like myself. Well, I would say when I said people of color, two African, was on there. And let me tell you, they spoke eloquently. I was so touched and so pleased. And these are young people. They, I don't know if she was from Birmingham or they didn't per se where she came from, but one was from Kenya, and he spoke about the mama. The Mormon, I don't know the pronunciation, how to pronounce them. He spoke about them and what the British Empire did in Kenya. Yeah, and then the young princess, came on board and talked about reparation and, and what Barbados did and Jamaica supposed to follow after. You know what I mean? I was so enlightening because I thought she was going to talk something negative. But when I hear the discussion, I said, my goodness, the youth, them are waking up, man. The youth, them are waking up and they're seeing what is really and truly happening. It's only these little elders where I'm so brainwashed and real stupid, you know what I mean, will make a stupid statement, you know what I mean? So, I just want to reiterate that to you. And of course, we must show liberation to our ancestors because they paved the way for all of us. For all of us, I'm telling you. Carry on.
Give thanks, family. Most strength to the eye and
No
for the
problem.
call.
Yeah,
give thanks.
every time. Yeah, bless.
That's our beloved brother Ever. And I will rise up. Brother Delani, who would have been with us, because the unforeseen circumstances of illness, why Brother Delani, and he's always been with us. Whenever time we have occasion like our parent and ancestral day, very enlightening. But I want to ask you the question. I would like you to respond in kind. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to answer because, I want you to tell me in your own words What is it as an African why we show so much patriotism to this country? And what do you call a person who love his or her country? Is he a patriot? Do we show all of that patriotism to Africa? Do we do that? And if we do that, tell me, because when we speak of ourselves, I like when I speak about Mama Africa, you know. I like when I speak about Mama Africa. Sister Wynn sent a little clip from a film. And I think this clip is so poignant. So poignant. And I want you to listen to the first part of this clip. I want you to listen to this first part of this clip and tell me if you see we doing it. Are we showing more allegiance? Not because we're living here. I've heard it many a times. The one just said to me, boy, you talk about Britain, you're knocking Britain, why you living here? I said, have you heard about the word reparation? I said, I'm coming for my reparation. I said, I'm coming for my reparation. I'm coming back for what has been taken away from us. I'm coming to claim it. That's the reason why I'm here. Many of you can express yourself, but I can express my views. And if that's the only words that you can express, use it. And point it out to whoever. Then if they respond to you, you have to know how you're going to back that up. Because I need my reparation. And if that's the only reason why I'm here, I'm going to stay here until I get mine. I might die here, but that's not my intention. But I need my reparation. So don't ask me what I'm... Let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you something before I play this clip. I have met, what they call her, the Princess Royal, the Queen daughter, Anne. I've met Anne, and I've got a photograph at my house with her. They've chosen me to meet this woman. And they said, when you meet her, you mustn't ask her a question. Let her ask a question, and you must courtesy, you must bow. I said, and I stood there listening to all of what they quote you and tell you, and I just stood there. And she came up to I. And she said, hi. And I said, hi. I'm in a courtesy. She said, and who are you? And I told her my name. She said, oh, that's a beautiful name. I said, my name. When are you going back? I said, I'm decided. I haven't decided as yet. Because Britain have owed me a little bit of compensation. And she said, what is that? I said, I'm waiting to get some compensation for those of us who came here through the enslavement as reparation. And she laughed. She said, I hope you do get that. And she walked away from me. Now in the morning, everyone is saying to me, what is it that you said to her to make her laugh? What is it you said to her to make her laugh? The longest session of reasoning with her. I said, so, yeah, I said. A few strong ago, they gave me, they said, oh, there's a picture for you. And they gave me a picture that was taken because they've got camera all over the place. And you got the cameraman running around her. And they send a camera picture with herself and I reasoning together. I am not going to be afraid to open my mouth, to speak out for my people, because it's very important. And if that's the only time I've got to tell her, don't tell me that she didn't get that me want reparation. That got sunk in because she had a long conversation, long conversation. And the moment we get to touch on reparation, she smiled and she said, I hope you get it, and she walk away. For the couple of days now, them been celebrating the life of her mother. And some of you as African out there celebrating the life of her mother when her mother was part of the chain that we've gone through and the enslavement. And you're out there celebrating. Do you know what we went through when we came here? And you're out there saying you're patriotic, wearing all the damn dress and walking around like a damn idiot, jumping from rock to rock. Do you realize that? And if you realize that and you're doing it, it'll show you how far gone we are. There's no coming back. And so we ain't gonna bring back those 2 young girls I saw walking Peckham in the arms of those 2 European. They won't be coming back. Well, I couldn't say they won't. Because the young sister I spoke to yesterday, she's back with us. She's back with us. But it take her a long time to find her footing to say that I'm an African. I went into a conference in Brixton some time ago, and there was a sister who came and she said she did not know that she was an African. So this sister I spoke to yesterday is not the first sister who have said this. How important is Parent and Ancestral Day to you? What are some of this feedback that you have had? And what are some of the setback that you have had when you came here? Let me hear. Tell those who just have come of what you have gone through, what we went through when we came here. And I've told plenty of stories. I've told many of stories. When I came here in the early 70s, this time of the day, you couldn't, if you look outside, maybe you might just about be able to see next door or across the road, because there was so much smog into this country. Sun wasn't shining very hot in this country because smog was keeping out the sunshine. This country was more contaminated then than it is now. Still contaminated. Still contaminated. There was fog coming through left, right, and center when we came here. And when even those who came here before I, the smell of paraffin, straw, kerosene oil on our clothes, because that was what some of us were using to eat our homes. The damn forsaken coal houses that we live into. Do you tell your children that? No, you don't tell them that. Because they come and see everything. When I came here, electricity wasn't as regular as you have it today. Britain was going through power cut, just like how some of our African countries are going through power cut. So don't think that the light is constant when we came here first, as you're now having it now. It wasn't constant. But many of you take it for granted. Many of you take it for granted. Let's go down memory lane. Let's go down memory lane. I dare you to sit there without expressing your views of what you went through when you came here, what racism was like. It's very, very, very few of us can say we didn't face racism. And you know, there's a word that the army use. And the army uses this word for more reason than one. And you've got different definition of this word, characters. One might say, there goes a good character, there goes a bad character. And when someone in the army point your finger at you and say, there goes a character, that means you're a bad soldier. You don't stand to no nonsense. And I was one of those who was a character. I would see a army officer coming towards you, and the moment you see an officer coming towards you, you got to prepare to salute that officer. You got to prepare. You cannot walk past an Army Africa, a commissioned officer, without saluting him. And it depends on what mood I am in. And if I'm one of those foul mood, if someone pee me off and I'm walking towards one of them, I ain't lifting up my hand. And the only time I lift my hand up, I start take my beret off and I start loosening my belt. And he will come up to me and say, soldier, why are you loosening the belt? Why are you taking your beret off? I said, because I'm not going to salute you. What? I said, no, I'm not saluting you. I tell you, player, I ain't saluting you. And when you look across the parade, you don't see no corporal or no non-commissioned officers like a corporal or a sergeant, because them always called someone and said, lock up this man. And the moment someone see me and see an officer, they disappear, they run. Because they don't want to harass me, they don't want to take me to the guard room. And he would have to walk away from me and said, I'm going to report you. What is your name, soldier? And I will tell him my name. Because I'm not afraid. And I'm saluting your backside. And I will be down seen as a character. I remember they put I wish I didn't know anything about Batman. And that was part of the slavery that the army is still perpetrating today. The army is still perpetrating that slavery that they had then, today. You have to be a Batman in the army. Let me tell you the work of a Batman. The officer in question that they allocate you to an officer in the army. Now you're being his Batman. You prepare his clothes. You iron his clothes. Polish his boot. There's a belt that they call the way call it Sam Brown. And the way with the cross around the waist, and you have to polish it as shiner than your face. I remember they give me one to shine, and I use a bloody what do you call it, a brush to brush it, and the brush teeth leave mark in the Sam Brown. I said, look, I let that officer get confined to barracks the way he dressed like a tramp, because I don't want that. Let me take a call and I come back and tell you some more, because there's more to this. To show you today in the army, there's still slaves that the army have got inside the army today, 2022. Greetings, call you on Galaxy.
Yes. Greetings, Nana. Yeah, taxi driver.
All right.
Live on, Selassie, I live it. Yeah. I don't know who was watching the football yesterday between England and Hungary. Did you all witness what happened when the moment came to take the knee? There were 30,000 children there under the age of 16, and the whole of them were booing. Okay? What does that mean? It tells me that, the white children are getting home tutored, They have been teach. Their parents are teaching them, about the place of black people in the world. Now, what are we doing to counteract that? Because a lot of black people is not doing anything like that within their homes. We are telling them we are watching TV with our children, grandchildren, and our children, and we are saying, oh, we see white men and white women. Oh, what a beautiful, look at her hair, look at her face, look at her hair, and blah, blah, blah. White people are telling, their children, to us, don't respect us. As simple as that is a significant thing, because even the broadcaster, right, and Talk Sport yesterday was dumbfounded about it. Even he felt embarrassed about it. It's very, very significant yesterday what happened, Racism is still alive and kicking in Europe, okay? They are spreading the news, in their home, round the dining table, whilst they are watching television, Christmas, Easter, when the family is gathered, right? They are ridiculing us and teaching the next generation, right? About our place in the world. Please, this is really serious, man. The Bible says who have eyes will see and who have ears will hear, This is really significant, The 30,000 children under the age of 16 were booing the players that were taking the knee. That is significant, because you know what that says? We're not interested in about any harmony or anything like that. And on that note, I gone, Please just think about that for one moment, We got to start putting things in order to counteract these behavior, because it ain't getting better, it'll get worse. Yesterday demonstrated, is a significant, is a fundamental statement that was said by those 30,000 children under the age of 16. And on that note, me gone.
Give thanks, brethren. Most strength to the eye. Brother Kwame, good afternoon, family.
Good afternoon, Nana Pakamabai. How are you?
I'm doing reasonably well, family, and I presume you're just as good as I'm feeling.
Absolutely. Do I have your permission to speak?
Permission granted, Nana? My brother. Permission granted.
Give thanks, Nana. So the question you posed is a very interesting question, which I'll come on to. But just quickly to respond to what my brother Kwabena Tatsdava said about yesterday's football in Hungary. We all know that there's Afrophobia, and that's why I don't call it racism. I call it Afrophobia, because it is specific to the bigotry that we as African people face. So that's why, for me, the term racist, they've divided, because when they talk about racism, they talk about English and Scottish, Irish and Welsh, English and German. That's what they feel as racist. So we have to use our own terminology that suits our narrative. That's why I use the term anti-African racism or Afrophobia. And what we saw in Hungary yesterday at the England football match is a typical example of Afrophobia. And this is why I say, a lot of people think I'm wrong in saying this, all white people are racist. All white people are anti-black. Because that experiment of those children booing our African players who play for England is testimony of that. Yeah? Because they get it from their parents, and their parents are inculcating their children, white Caucasian people, all across the world, not just in Hungary or England, but all across the world, that we are less than human. We are not worthy. We are monkeys. We are this. And that's what they propagate to their children. And this is why they have these filthy attitudes to ourselves. So this is what I'm saying. All white people, and I don't care what no one will come after me and say, because I get some people saying that, I can't say that, or you're generalizing. But no, all of them are anti-black, because what is taught to them in school, they are taught that the color of their skin, whiteness, signifies greatness.
No, hang on, Brother Kwame. In essence, we need to say that they've got certain privilege, white privilege, and that's where the word white privilege comes in. But I can assure you, I wouldn't say all of them are racist. I wouldn't say that, because let me tell you this. I remember one year, and even today, one European woman always remember when the time for puppy comes up. I remember one year she gave me 2 puppies, and she said one is for Dr. Abu, and she always listened to us, always listened to Galaxy, and she said this is for Galaxy, this is for Dr. Abu, and this is for you. And I came in and said, Dr. Abu, a white woman have given me 2 puppy, one for you and one for myself. And Dr. Abu said, Brethren, I don't want it, I'm not going to take it. The only time I will take a puppy if it's black. Rastafari. I don't think Dr. Abu realized the word that came out of his mouth. The following year, she went out and she get 2 personalized puppy made out of black. And she said, take this and give it to your brother, because I listened to him. And today, that woman always sent a donation to Galaxy. So it's not all of them, Brother Kwame, that have got the same principle as you said, all white people are racist.
Okay, Nana, I respect you as a king of your people in Sierra Leone. So respectfully, we will disagree on this for now.
To agree.
Because like Muhammad Ali once said, not all rattlesnakes bite. So if I've got 1,000 rattlesnakes outside my door, shall I let all of them in?
No, we're not saying that. We said not all. We said not all. So there you go. It's not all going to sting you.
Fine, Nana, but I'm not going to allow.
Never mind. We're not going to disrespect your opinion. That is your opinion, and we're not going to take that away from you.
Fine, but again, what I want to say to our listeners is that those Caucasian people who have a so-called amity with us, if you're not working to destroy the system of white terrorism, then you are just as anti-African as those people who perpetrate it. Simple as that. So if you have anything towards us, if you have a support for us, that's fine. That's within your conscience. But what I want to tell you, white Caucasian people, if you are not working to dismantle the very system that terrorizes us on a daily basis, then you're just as bad as people that perpetrate it. So, for example, Jane Elliott, who's a white psychologist in America of 40 years, she said to white people, if you white people want to be treated as this society treats our black people, raise your hand. Raise your hand if you as a white person in this society would like to be treated the same way that our black people are treated in America.
I've got that clip somewhere in my archive.
Right. Not one white person raised a hand.
That's
so I want
true.
to ask the same of the white people listening today. If you was a white Caucasian person today in the UKKK, if you would like to be treated the same way that people of African descent are treated in this country, then call Galaxy and tell them that you would like to be treated the same way as we are treated. And so, if not, that tells me that you know what's happening. But I want to know why you're prepared to allow it to happen to us, but when you are not allowed to allow it to happen to yourself. So Nana, so back to your question. Many of our people are scared, and this is preparing at work. You see, when I work, I don't talk to any African person because I know from even the look of them that a lot of them are coconuts, a lot of them are Oreos, and a lot of them are not African centered. And this, for want of a better word, Oreo, who had a Union Jack suit, is proof of that. And the reason why they are behaving in this manner is to fit in, to try and fit in, as Nana Abu says, in a society that rejects them. We black people, some of us want to do everything that we think is possible within our dominion to try and fit in with a society that rejects the blackness. So some of us will inter-race mix. Some of us will dye our hair blonde. Some of us will chemicalize our hair. Some of us will wear a tattoo. Some of us will go with a white woman. Some of us will go with a white man. Just to think that you have a semblance of fitting into society that rejects you. And also because a lot of these Oreos, these bounty bars walking around this country are not taught of the history and also what their parents went through. So this is where I really attack the parents out there, because you as a parent, you have a responsibility to tell your child what you've been through, what you've experienced, and to give your children the manual of code operandi. Many of you parents don't do that. So you think your child is British or English. And then you see what happened the other day with our young black child, child Q. If she was really English or British, do you think what happened to her was happened to her? I don't think so. So we need to understand.
We don't know. We don't know, because the importance of it. She didn't cause that on herself. What happened to her? Is the system itself perpetrate that what happened to her to happen? The police force, the school system, the board of governors. So it wasn't about her, and I'm sure she alone could not prevent what happened to her to happen to her.
But built on a psychosis of white terrorism, whereby white people are taught, Caucasian people are taught, with it's not even subliminal anymore. It is right in your face that whiteness is better than everything else. In the magazines, in the history classes, they're stealing our music now. They put themselves up front. I was in the gym yesterday, and on it was on BBC, and they're talking about the history of medicine. And they didn't put any African there.
No.
So if you're watching that as even an African person, let alone a white person, you're watching that, you're going to think that we white people are great because we introduced penicillin into the world, and that black people have done nothing at all in the advancement of medical science. But yet, an African man, Imhotep, is the father of medicine. Yeah? But our people don't know this because it is being deliberately hidden from them. So many other people think that you are nothing, right? Particularly Africans on the continent, the Ghanaians, the so-called Nigerians, the Ugandans, the Kenyans, the Eritreans, the Ethiopians, right? Because they are not taught about this history as well. And back home, they come to this country and have the adulation for the Caucasian. This is why you see somebody like me, I'm hated by my own Ghanaian people because I don't love Obroni the way that they love Obroni, because I know my history. As Asante, as Asante particular, I know my history, so I don't really take my people who don't like me seriously, because you don't know what they've done to us, even in Ghana, within what is called Ghana, let alone what they did to our kith and king in the circle carries beyond. So many of Africans that come here, like you give the example, Nana, right? They have the majesty in awe, because they said that this is the queen. But yet this queen does not relate even to the Asante Hima or the Ochihima, or the Yana, right? Or even our queens of ancient days, like Queen Nanaya Santua, Queen Hatshepsut, Queen Candice, Queen Moreau, Queen Nzinga, Queen Nahenda, Queen Amina, and Asasiya. You don't touch none of them.
034, I'm coming to you.
Because we don't know our history, we then put this old crinkly Caucasian woman, so-called Queen Elizabeth, as some majesty in law. When if you know who you are as a black person, you would understand that A, she is nothing, because even the crown that she wears was stolen from Africa. How many of you know that? The crown that she wears, the single crown Jews, was stolen from Africa. But because this is not taught to you, and then the white media also whitewashes it, apart from exceptions, but the rule is that they whitewash what I'm saying, what we're talking about today, put it under the rug, and think that this family is a majestic family, when in essence they are a family of criminals, of hoodlums, of murderers, of pimps, of vagabonds and charlatans, whose money, whose wealth that they enjoy, and that pomp and ceremony that you've seen over the past 3 days, that pomp and ceremony was made possible by the blood, the murder, the sweat and tears of African people. And I make no apology for that, because when I see that, I'm just seeing that what they have, what they think that they have, is based on blood, sweat and tears, predominantly of African people.
Interesting. Interesting.
Go and Google myself. I'm coming, Nana. Please bear with me. If you don't believe what I'm saying, go and Google the South Sea Company, go and Google Royal Africa Company, and go and Google Queen Elizabeth I, John Hawkins.
Interesting, my brother. Let's bring in someone in Studio 4 who's been on the line waiting for a period of time. 034, good afternoon to you. You're on Galaxy.
Yeah, good afternoon, Nana. Good afternoon, Brother Kwame, and to the Galaxy family, and to Dr. Abu, and to Brother Kwaiko, and to all the Galaxy family at large. Yeah, I'd like to say, look, you know, we always talk about this situation with the white people and us, and I agree with you. Not all of them are racist, okay? And there's been several times, like I'm sitting on talking now to you, I've been sitting in my cab or talking to someone and talking about certain situations, like, you know, I remember one time I was there, this white man, he wanted a cab, and I said to him, look, no, sorry, I'm busy. So he wouldn't go away because he's listening to me talking, I was talking on the radio. Finally, when I finished, he came and he said, I agree with you. I agree with what I'm saying, because he's saying, look, yes, for the West, he said, they are oppressors. And I didn't realize that Russia was under the cosh of them. He said, they have Russia and Canada and all these places, right? That means the Western Europe and the Americans. They have these places under their cosh. They don't pay them the kind of money that they want to pay them and all these other sort of things, right? So he's agreeing that these people are evil and their evil should be cut. And the other day I was speaking to, and the white man, he was there listening, he said, boy, I agree with you about what you're saying about these people. Now, what I'm saying is also, one of the things we always talk about these people, and we talk about Haiti. How many people know, right? At the time of the Haitian War, there is a group of Polish people in Haiti who turned and fought against the French people, joined the Haitians, white people who joined the Haitians and said, look, yeah, these people are oppressors. They oppressing us in Europe the same way. So they joined the Haitians and fought so it wasn't just black people alone fighting the French and British and all. There was Polish people who was fighting alongside of them. And today, those same, after the revolution, they gave them a portion, a little small spot in Haiti, and they're still there until today. Their families are still there until today. And how many people ever talk about that? Because they've been there. So yes, I mean there's a lot of bad people among them, but there are some people who have a conscience. So we mustn't say all, because there are some of them who is willing to fight. And I remember I came here when I was in 1965. 1966 I started working. I was the only black man in a white predominantly area. I was second in command on the ship. I was working on the ship. And I used to get grief from some of the people working among me. And I remember my foreman, he said, look, he goes into the office, he said, look, please tell them to stop interfering with this guy, me, Stan. Because I could see a fight going to break out. And when he starts, I'm going to be right by his side fighting with him. So please tell them to stop insulting me and doing all sorts of other things. Because he can see a fight going to break out. And when the fight starts, he's going to be there. So tell them to stop. So what I'm saying is, brother, yes, we must put everybody in the same box. Yes, we have to distinguish. I know, it's a fine line, but majority of the people are not like that. There was people fighting alongside Mandela in South Africa, right? So we mustn't put all that. So I agree with you, my chief. Nana, I agree with you. But
again, respectfully, Elder Akram, I would love Nana Pakambaga to play that clip from Jane Elliott on Oprah. She said, and she's a white woman of 40 years experience as psychiatrist, all white people are anti-black. That's why I said anti-black. I didn't say racist. I said Afrophobic, anti-black. Right? If you can play it, Nana, that would be great to back up what I'm saying.
I will have to dig very deep in my archive to find it. I'm not too sure if I've got it here with me, but I've got that clip that we speak of. I've got it in my archive somewhere. But it's a very important clip that what many haven't heard to hear for themselves. A very important clip.
Yeah, precisely. And if you're at home right now, you can just get your YouTube out, put Jane Elliott, white people are racist, Oprah. You can play it for yourself.
Okay, family.
Okay.
Are you finished making the part, Brother Kwame?
Well, for now, yes.
All right, family. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Brother Akram. It's important for us to hear the sentiments from ones and ones this afternoon. I want to hear from you. Let me hear from your elders who came here. And for even younger people in this country, what have you been told? What have you been told? Because we want to hear what is it that your family member who in this country who were here from a longer time, what are some of the history stories that they've told you, and how do you yourself take it on? Let me take on a call from Brother Geb. Brother Geb, my brother, good afternoon to you.
Hotep, Nana. Hotep to the Galaxy family. Hope all is well.
Yes, family. You want to? You've joined the conversation as we are now talking about. We had a beautiful, only a pity you weren't here, my brother, day when we celebrate we venerate our parents and ancestors here on Friday here. It was wonderful. The sentiment was great. The people was beautiful. And the ancestral spirit was among us. And we walk away from there filled with joy and energy, Brother Geb.
Yeah, I was there in spirit, man.
Oh, yes.
Now, let me tell you why I called. I called you to concur with our brother Kwame.
Okay.
And we have to have this straight, and we can't waver. It's either they're good or they're bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I am on the opinion that every white person, mother, father, and child, is evil. And those that haven't become evil will become evil. And so I support Brother Kwame's position. And I just want to say to our wonderful brother who spoke about the Polish fighting alongside our brothers and sisters from Haiti. Whenever one of those devils stand with us, it is for their benefit and not ours. And we had that same sort of argument not too long ago when we began to talk about, there was people talk about how Russia has supported Africa. Russia has never supported Africa. unless there was something in it for Africa. That is not for themselves. That is not supporters of us. That is them seeing the benefit of joining this very limited struggle because there's a reward for them. And the proof is, where are they now? And what are they doing for the African family now? And the answer is nothing. All white people are evil. It's in their gene pool. It's in their DNA. It comes directly from their ancestors, just like who we are comes directly from our ancestors. And it will be activated within their system.
So are you saying...
Go ahead, Chief.
Are you saying, my brother, those who are sympathetic to our fight, they're fooling themselves?
Well, I think being sympathetic is not being a supporter of Africans. People's hearts can bleed. You can see something and you can know innately what you're seeing is wrong. That doesn't mean they change their behavior. That doesn't mean that they will take a stand and they will join the rank and file of Africans and die for Africans. Again, if they join the rank and file, they are fighting for their own cause. They're fighting for the defense of their family and not ours. So yes, Nana, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, they can be sympathetic.
We have got a European support Galaxy, called Galaxy, and talk to us. A Swedish, she's from Sweden, and I remember I spoke to her, and she said, your reparation is something that you should have, because here in Sweden you have got black group who are calling for reparation as well. And one of the clauses that they're using here, reparation for displacement, reparation for displaced people, one they're using in Sweden. And she said, I'm a member of an organization, a black organization here in Sweden, that is supportive to the cause. Now, would you say someone like her, how would you place someone like her who is now trying to guide us in the fact that she herself see that there is a need for us to get reparation? Where would you place her?
Well, Nana, let me just say firstly, she should not be a member of one of our organizations.
Okay.
And that is Brother Geb saying that. But that's
I hear
also,
you.
Well, it's also a Pan-Africanist position.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need them as part of our organizations. We can do for ourselves. So we don't need them. But again, what I would say is, if they are espousing that they are sympathetic, then that's what they're espousing. That doesn't mean that they will do anything or put their lives and their children's lives on the line for the African movement. And I will, I will leave this plane with that belief system, and I will return to this plane with that belief system.
Brother Geb says we should build for ourselves. Words that comes out of Brother Geb's mouth. And Brother Geb said, as an African, we when are you going back? I said, from the Rasta organization in Elephant and Castle in Kennington, not Elephant and Castle, Kennington. And when we got into the hall, dear listeners, I'm telling you this now, there were more European inside there than African. There were more European women, just to say, than African women. And I looked at Dr. Harbour, and Dr. Harbour looked at I, and I said, brethren, this is not for us. And he says to me, I wasn't a nana then. And he says to me, are you ready? And I said, yes. Because he was driving, and I itch and lift with him. And we used to be, Dr. Harbour and I go to so many different places. And as you have me speak all the time of some of the things that we got up to when we go out. And I always says to him, you know something, we shouldn't travel together. But then it is good for us to travel together, because when he get upset, I will always calm him. And if I should get upset, he's always calming I down. So we are good for each other. So what you've said, Brother Gabe, I hear your sentiment. But here's an African sister who have uttered the same word about us building for ourselves.
I'm for separation. And I'm just going to say that. I don't want to integrate. I don't want to be included in nothing they got going on. I don't want none of that. And if when I say something like that, it seems like I'm racist, right? Oh, black people get scared. Oh, wait a minute. You're trying to reverse civil rights. Blah, blah. No, I'm not trying to reverse civil rights, but let's just think about it. Because we think about separation and we think that that means like we have to hate everyone else and not deal with them. That's not what that means. Separation is Koreatown. Separation is Little Tokyo. Separation is Chinatown. Separation is Little Mexico. That's what separation is. Little India. That's separation. And in every major city, you have that. You have all these communities where they are, and they own that space, and they police their own communities, and the money circulates within that community. That's separation. But where is ours?
Brother Gabe, I think the sister have got your sentiment, and you didn't know I was going to play this. But the sister said we need to build for ourselves, and I support your sentiment, just like the sister said we should build our sentiment. And she point out, in our own words, our definition of separation. So, because we are now so conditioned, Brother Gabe, my brother, and we're now integrated, so that word integration have taken us away from self and separation. Isn't that so?
Yeah, I agree with you, Nana. And you know, I've always said, just like the sister has just said, any dealings with the Wazunga, with these devil children, should be transactional. There may be a time that we have to deal with them, so let it be transactional. Let it be about, you have something that I need and I have something you need, so I will do that transaction. But ideally, we need to build where we never have to see these devils, where we never have to transact with these devils. Ideally, we need to get to a space where they are completely and eternally eradicated.
My brother, you know, I cannot change your views, because what you've said, I have got the same feeling as what you've got. Right. I've just taken on a call. Right. Is it 962? Good afternoon to you. Or 982.
Yes, sir. Hello. Hello. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear, sir.
Excellent. Brilliant. Okay. So, I've been listening to your show, so for many years. Many years I've been listening, and one of the things that I've noticed is that we tend to externalize our issues and expect a savior to come and save us. I know you guys don't deal with Jesus, right? But we expect the white man to fight in our battles. And I'm resonating from the issue of what Kwame has said, and your brother from America has backed him up. They seem to always back each other up on specific conversation or arguments. But I want to challenge this mindset, right? We have to do for self. Yeah, if one white man or one Chinese man or one Indian man comes and want to fight with us, yippee, great, right? But we don't depend on 1 or 100 or 1,000,000. We need to do for self. And what I'm saying is, sometimes we always have this air of mistrust when somebody might just fall in that line and have sympathy for us. I don't really like the whole sympathy thing. I want to work through my issues with my people, right? But you see, if there are white people that sympathize with our cause, sympathize with our issues, but then when we're so, now because they're white, we can't have nothing to do with them. That is destructive. That mindset. Okay. And I'll tell you, and it's also showing how weak we are as a people. All right, because we can't do for self, and we're expecting other people to do for us, and then we get critical when one person might step out or 10 people might step out. That's not in our community. That's not in our that don't share our tone, and then we want to start pointing fingers. The fingers need to be pointed at ourselves. All right, we got to point the fingers back at ourselves and say, why aren't we doing for self?
Well, you have listened.
On that, I'll land.
Well, I hear you. I hear you. I'm gonna take. Come on. I hear you, and I hear exactly. And what you have said is what you've uttering. What I have said, that not because there are some European out there who are sympathetic, so we're not gonna knock them. But I wonder if Brother Gabe should come in on this, because Brother Gabe, you listen to what the brother said. The brother is now saying, we can't knock all of those out there who are sympathetic with our calling. Yes. But at the same time, the sister have pointed out that we need to do for self. How would you respond to this, Brother Gabe?
Well, Nana, it's simple. History is what we should go by, and history is very clear. They cannot be trusted. And if that is the brother's position, and I say this respectfully because I don't know, brother, but that is the type of position that leads to integration. That's the type of position that says, I am willing to date one of those devil children and have babies with that devil children. It's either you are for or against. And once you get a crack in the foundation, the whole wall will come down.
Okay. Can I respond?
Yes, you can.
Excellent. Okay. With due respect, my brother, you really don't know me, right? Because, all right, put it this way, we're all going to war, yeah? My grandfather fought for England, right? Hello?
Well, listen, Brother Kwame, my brother, turn off whatever device you're listening to, because we can get a feedback, and it's kind of disturbing to the brother who's speaking. Continue, brother.
Yeah. My grandfather fought for England, yeah? He went back to Jamaica. I mean, he lived in Jamaica, came over here, fought in the Second World War, went back to Jamaica, right? He's mixed race. From this day, he turned around and said he would never live in England. He don't like them, they're racist. All right. That's a mixed race man, yeah? Let me say this also. The fact that you have an army fighting for one common cause, everybody agrees we don't like what's happening, yeah? Your army is built up with people who are conditioned to act and react the same way. It doesn't matter. Because I'll be honest with you, if I call a dance, we can get a bag full of man in my dance. But if I call a bag full of my people to set up a business and make our situation better, I've struggled with this situation for years. Galaxy struggled just to get donations. So what I'm saying is, yeah, this rhetoric hasn't helped us. We have to, at some point, rely on allies. I believe.
My brother. Stick up in, please. Stick up in. 563. We have just brought you in. So could you please mute your phone or whatever device you're listening to, my brother, because we can hear you disturbing the reason at the moment.
Hello.
563, you're on the radio. As I'm saying to you, could you mute your phone? Someone else is speaking, and I'm sure you can hear that someone else is speaking. So could you please mute your phone before we bring you in? We recognize that you're here, my brother. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You ready?
My brother who was speaking, not you, my brother who was speaking, could you continue?
Yeah. So I'm really going to land on this, right? So the fact of the matter is that, we don't need to rely on other people. We need to rely on ourselves. That's what I started with. However, it would be foolhardy of us to close our doors to people who... And if you think it's just helping us, it's not, because they realize they're getting SCREWD. They're getting screwed over in the process. White folks are getting screwed over. Indian folks are everybody are getting screwed over, because this is not about color. It's a class system, right? And whether It's whether you have it or you don't. It's whether you're in the club or you're not. Yeah? So everyone is getting screwed over. And when we can ally with people who do not look like us, but they can see and identify that they're not happy with the situation they're in, and they're willing to come, because this is a freedom war we're fighting.
All right.
If you think this is about color, race, or that we're kings and queens, they ain't got nothing to do with that. This is a free.
All right, stick up in. You've made your point. Let me bring in Brother Kwame. Brother Kwame, you listen to the brother, and I can hear you mumbling in the background. Before we bring in 563, hang on, give me a second. Before we bring in 563, I'm going to bring back Brother Gabe and this. So, Brother Kwame, you want to respond to our brother?
Yeah, so if it's not about race, how comes then that black women are 5 times likely to die giving birth or while pregnant, right? And nothing said about it. If it's not about race, why is it that black people, black children, are 5 times more likely to be expelled than their white or Asian peers? If it's not about race, why are we, even though we're 3% of the population, disproportionately represented in the prisons? If it's not about race, why is it our black footballers are targeted week in, week out? Yeah, just playing the game that is their living. Yeah, week in, week out. If it's not about race, how comes that even neighborhood where you live, you get harassed by your neighbor? If it's not about race, look at even the work situation, work. We're even harassed in work.
Okay. Let me know when I can answer. Let me know when I can answer.
Just because one white person, and like I said, hold on, let me land. And like I said, because one white person may seem to have a faint interest, doesn't mean that they understand the nature of our struggle. Because if they did, they would work hard to dismantle a system that they benefit from, that terrorizes you and I on a daily basis. So if they're not prepared to work to dismantle the system that denigrates you and I, that disrespects our blackness, then they are just as guilty as people that Boris Johnson that perpetrate that system.
Okay, let the brother respond. Then we go to yes, you can respond, my brother. You can respond, and I go to Brother Gabe. Then I come to 563. Go ahead, my brother. You respond.
So I'm going to respond. So you've asked many questions, right? The fact of the matter is this: it's simple. Yeah, you talked about us being in prison. I can tell you the fact that they stole us from Africa, the fact that they control Africa today, the fact that they're still Africans as slaves today, the fact that when you look on society, yeah, in the UK, we're in prisons, we're at the bottom of the token barrel. You know where it all starts from? We was not united in the beginning, my brother.
We were.
Yeah, because, and here what, listen to me clearly.
Rubbish.
Hang on, Brother Kwame, don't do that, please. Come on.
Let me land. Because I'm going to jump off now, right? The fact of the matter is this, yeah? If we was united in the beginning, right? We didn't have no era wars. This era wars, post-Cold Wars. We're looking on youth them today and saying, you know, how they fighting each other. Yo, this stuff started in Africa, brother. Yeah? So all I'm saying to you, if we was united in the beginning and we saw for race first, and even after, even today we're still not seeing for race first, that shows the problem is with us. And we can always point the finger to everybody else. But until we can realize our problem is us, the truth of the matter is, me not have nothing else to say enough. Yeah, jump up because it's a bag of long things, sir. Yeah? That's all I'm saying.
All right, family, we give thanks. Let me go to Brother Gabe. I'm coming to you. You want to make a response, and then we go to 563. Brother Gabe.
Yeah, just very briefly to my brother. The first thing, brother, the problem is with them. The solution is with us. And then I also wanted to say, you brought your grandfather into this conversation, and you also mentioned the military, and you said war is war. And I'm just paraphrasing, but in a nutshell, you said they're all treated the same in war when you're on the same side. So that is also a factual untruth. When we enlist in their war, we die in greater numbers than them because they send us directly to the front lines to die on their behalf. And then I would invite you to learn the lesson that came out of your grandfather's mouth that you said came out of his mouth. I'm not coming back to this country because they're racist. So I'm just going to say your position is different than mine because I have a Pan-Africanist philosophy and you have the philosophy of integration. So we will never align. But you have a right to your position, brother, and I wish you the best, and I hope your position changes.
Give thanks, Brother Gabe. Let me take on 563-184. We know you're there. Give us a second or two. And we think Russell Singh is trying patiently to get through. I think he's having some problem. But let me go to 563 first. 563, thanks for your patience. You're on Galaxy. Good afternoon.
Okay then. Good afternoon, brothers.
Yes, my brother.
We have this excessive and complete hatred, right, about our aggressors, right? I understand some of it, and I used to have that to a large extent once, but I've learned a lot since, right? Look, let me say this first of all. Before the pandemic, I was in an exhibition in Hyde Park, right? And this exhibition was about the oppression of black people, and a lot of it was centered in America, and there was the Black Panther there, and there were graphic illustrations there, and there were white people looking at it, right? And this white woman walked up to me. She was probably about 10 yards away from me. She walked up to me, and she said, "Oh, this is sad. This isn't right." And then she turned on and said to me that, look, Europe has been living off of Africans, right? And she says, well, look, in my degree, I wrote an essay about Martin Luther King and so on. So we had a brief discussion. And I said to myself, look at that. You don't get anything oddly like that. For that person, that white woman to come up, right? That person is sympathizing, right, with the chaos, right, that they or her people, right, has brought upon us, right? We need to find ways to work with sympathizer, but we need to sort them out first to make sure that they really are, right? But some of them are, I would say. Right? We need to find ways and stop this complete hatred, man.
Let me come at you. Let me come back at you.
No, sorry, hold on. Oh, yeah.
Yes, let me come back at you. I don't, you see, and I can hear the venom inside of you, and you become a sympathizer. You shouldn't feel any way beyond the way you're feeling, or any less, but you must allow to give us the opportunity to speak of how we feel. It's not aggression, because they were being aggressive to us. So because you one European, and as I've spoke about European who are sympathizer, that doesn't say I shouldn't be aggressive because of what I've gone through. And my ancestors who I was celebrating and venerating yesterday, they have gone through worse than what you and I are seeing today. So I'm going to feel the way I am feeling, and I'm going to feel very grieved because they didn't even have anyone to sympathize with them.
I said, right, that I accept, right, that, but only to an extent, and I used to be like that. But as I learned certain things about how the international system operate, right? We can't exclude ourselves, man, from these people or from everybody and say we're gonna completely go it alone. We've got to do much of the work, of course, right? I'm ready to fight and die, and I want Africa to be free. I would love to see that before me passed away. I would love to see that as much as anyone else.
And we have to show that vigor. We got to show that tenacity of strength among ourselves, that we are on the battlefield. And soldiers shouldn't, my brother, we shouldn't go on the battlefield and have sympathy. We got to make sure we go to win, and that's the reason why you hear we speak with the venom that you think that we have got. Let me stick a pin. Don't run away. Let me take another call because this caller has been waiting. Then we can come back. I'm going to go to Brother Akram as he's been sitting down patiently waiting for some time. Let me take a call. 184, you on Galaxy. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Nana. Rise up, and once again, big up for the recognition by the Galaxy family community from Friday appearance and ancestors. And we were venerating our ancestors and parents on that day. And one of our great ancestors, I believe it was Frederick Douglass, he said, until those who are unaffected by injustice become as outraged as those who are, nothing will change. To the two brothers who are saying that, and I'm not here defending white people, in every race there are bad and there is good. And if those brothers were drowning and a white person came along and was wanting to throw them a life belt or safety, a life jacket, are they telling me that they would refuse it because they are white? Or they would say, I don't want it because you're evil.
All right, the two brothers who spoke about, you're speaking about Brother Gabe and Brother Kwame.
And Brother Kwame, yes, indeed. This idea of going out saying that we know white people are evil, but we cannot say all white people, because that's exactly what they did to us. They said all black people are this, all black men are rapists, and all them thing that. And so we're doing exactly the same that they did, and what they used to oppress us, etc., etc. We can't steep to their level.
I don't think we are. But let me. All right, Brother Gabe, I was going to ask Brother Kwame, but Brother Gabe, you're in. Let me hear you, Brother Gabe.
Yeah, Nana, I'm happy to respond. Is that Brother Carl?
Yes, it is.
Yes, my brother.
Hotep, brother. Okay. Let me answer your question very clear, which had nothing to do with our argument, but you threw in a red herring. So let me deal with your red herring about if a white person threw me a rope, would I accept it? And you was very clear. You said if we were drowning.
Yeah.
Right? So the first rule of life, brother, is self-preservation. So if somebody threw me a rope because it had something to do with saving my life, I'm going to take the rope. I'm going to take the rope. And I may even thank the brother or thank the white person, but that white person would still remain my enemy, just to be very clear.
That doesn't make logical sense at all. I cannot regard somebody who just saved my life as my enemy, because he just saved my life. That does not make logical sense at all, with the greatest of respect, my brother. If you just saved my life, then why am I going to regard you as an enemy? Just because you are a different color to me.
Well, I can tell
that's what the Christians say.
I can tell you, brother, that there are plenty of examples in history where white people have appeared to help Africans. And as I told you, the appearance of something doesn't make it true. So they've done something that appeared to be benevolent, but it was done because they had an ulterior motive. So it's you, brother, that is not thinking logical.
No, my brother.
Because a white person...
I'm coming to you soon, Russell Singh.
White person does something good for you, then they are now worthy of being praised. That is what you're saying, brother.
Oh, no, come on. Let's just stick to the facts.
I'm giving you my interpretation, brother.
Okay, so it's your interpretation. Now let me put it exactly how I meant it and said it. The fact is, if somebody just was, I was drowning, and somebody who was walking along and they saw the opportunity to throw me a life jacket, or and save my life.
I'll answer that.
Go on then, brother Kong. Go on then, brother Kong.
Just like I answered it when we said, I'd rather die with my integrity and with my Pan-African ideology intact than allow a white person to come and save me. And this is what we've got. We suffer from this white savior syndrome. This is white many Christians. Oh, the white Jesus, he saved me on the cross. So I look at white man as my savior. No, I would rather die. I'll be honest here. I'd rather die. Right? I'd rather die than get a rape from a white man. I'd rather die with my integrity.
You know what, brother Kwame? The only problem is we could never prove that. You could never prove that because you'd have to be to prove it. You'd have.
asked a hypothetical question. You said if. That's if it's in English language is a hypothetical. So you asked a hypothetical question.
Yeah, because
I'm answering you. I'm answering the question.
My brother, there is absolutely no way when you're confronted with the situation, when you're confronted with the actual situation. Maybe this is why sometimes we are stagnant in where we are, because we're unprepared. Somebody comes along to help, and they want to help. Somebody who's outraged with what's taking place and is prepared to stand side by side with you and assist. And you say, "Oh no, I'd rather fight." So you'd rather fight on for the next 500 years and not. Frederick Douglass. Let me repeat. Sorry.
So these white people that helped Mandela, so-called end apartheid, and apartheid ended, what have they done to dismantle the system of apartheid? They've done nothing.
Okay. I listen to you two brothers. Let's bring a fresh voice. Russell Singh has been on the line for some time. Let's bring him and hear what he's got to say. Russell Singh, can you hear us? Good afternoon.
Can you bring me next, please?
Yeah, who am I? Who have I got?
This is 1563.
Let me get back to you, my brother. Give me a second. 1563. Yes, my Russell Singh. All right, let me take 563. 563, come back, because I think we're having some problem with Russell Singh. 563, go on.
Look, tell me something. You don't really think, right, that we can trust every single black man? Eh? Do we really think that, though? Eh? Look, listen, like the brother said a little earlier, right? We have problems among ourselves too, and not all of that is caused by white people, right? Some of the slaves that were sold, right? Yes, much of that was under or European pressure, but not all of that, We had problems with our tribal problems or even community problems in Africa that also contributed to that, right? It never was that. We had these things. So you really think, right, that we are completely, or can even be completely united? The white man is not completely united. The Chinese man is not. No community or any race are completely united. I'm sure of that.
That is true. That is true. They are not completely united, but they have got something that they're still working with, which is collective, and we haven't got that collective unity among ourselves. My brother, let me bring in Russell Singh, because he's been trying to get through for some time now. Russell Singh, have you been there?
Listen, Nana, can you hear me? Nana Kongoban?
I can hear you, and you've been trying for a long time, and we've been trying endlessly to put you on. So I don't know if you can hear us, my brother.
Well, as you know, we will never give up the fight, and that's what we always say, Nana. In the presence of the Most High, the great order of divinity, the Omega and the Alpha, blessing to our human family right across Mother Earth. Yes, as usual, Nana, I am in agreement with that we must be in the area of what we do, but not that we hate them, because neither Marcus Mackay Garvey and certainly His Imperial Majesty, we're not racist, right? We may be prejudiced, but we're not racist. But as what Marcus declared, it is we ourselves that must do of ourselves. And as you know, Nana, not all of those who looks like we also cannot be trusted, because they also have the DNA of the enslaver. So when you're looking at color, just as what His Majesty said, until the color of a man's skin is no more significant than the color of his eyes, because evil have no preference of color, neither does good family. But I'm in agreement that in my council must be Ethiopian brothers and sisters, and those who wants to come from different nations, they will be in a minority, not a majority amongst us.
I hear you, but let me let me kind of really I'll go back to 753. Earlier he made a utterance, and I hear what he said, and I want to kind of really understand him fully. He said he's prepared to die for his people, but let me kind of really paraphrase what he said. We have got the heavy venom that we have got for you for European, and we shouldn't have that venom. 753. Let me ask you another hypothetical question, because you're here. How long, if you don't mind me asking, since you're in this country?
Is that to me?
Yes, my brother.
I've been here, I think over 40 years.
You're here for a long time. Have you suffered or faced any racism since you've been here?
Have I done what? Sorry?
Suffer or face any form of racism since you've been in this country?
Well, I must say, right, that personally, I've hardly come across that. And I know friends that have had a lot of problems with police, right? Serious problems with police. And to tell you the truth, I have never had that. But that is not to say that I don't accept, and I know that the police are brutal, so I can behave as if I've been brutalized too, right? But yeah, maybe fortunately or luck, or maybe the way I live my life too, and so on. I haven't suffered any serious confrontation with racism personally.
So, all right. So, you don't see the fact that you think it's brutal. So, how would you place the word brutal? Is it the fact that you think that the police would be as brutal to their own kith and kin European as they are with Africans in this country?
They are more brutal. They behave more brutal. Well, if you want to put it in statistically, yes, they behave more brutal with black people, right? I mean, this is really a racist world, you know. So yes, it does happen, right?
So
it does happen.
I just want to pick you up on certain things. I'm going to bring you back, Russell Singh. So it's a racist world. You said this is a racist world. So how would you place, so you wouldn't say that the way police, as you have now said in your own word, that the police are more brutal to black people than they are with white people. You see it as brutality. You wouldn't see it as being racist.
Well,
you're struggling. Yeah. You're struggling with it because you've never suffered racism. So you wouldn't be able to. You wouldn't be able to define racism, my brother, because you don't know what it's like.
Look, racism is about targeting a particular type of people, right? For aggression, brutality, whatever the word one want to use, right? But he translated it into aggression against a particular type of people, right? But that is still not to say, right, there is still, I stand by what I'm saying, right, there are sympathizers or a few sympathizers, right, that present the opportunity to work with. I don't mean they should be a part of our organization directly, right?
So when you say we are living in a racist world, how would you define races around the world between those who you think are not racist to stroke black people? How would you define that? If we live in a racist world, do you think as an African we suffer more than any other nation of people? Or we suffer less?
We suffer more.
So we've been suffering racism here, and we should, because of what we're seeing now, we should take it with a pinch of salt and work coordinately with white people. Is that the way you see it?
I'm saying, right, that you work with a few sympathizers, all right? Look, most white people, I accept, right, cannot be trusted, and they are serious problems, right? I accept that. Right, but I'm saying, right, that not every single one, 100 or 110%, not that, right? No. Because the thing is, no, I just want to say one thing, no, right? Okay, some parts of the world are probably more racist than other parts of the world, although, yes, you have a racist world. Because right now, you've got a radio station, right, which is serving black people in the Western world, or in, let's say, in England. You think you could have this radio station in Brazil, or in the so-called Arab world, or probably in India, where you have quite a few black people in the southern parts of India, and even in Pakistan. None of them can, and we don't hear about the problems from those other places.
We're not speaking for them. We're not speaking for them because we are not part of them. We are part of an African nation, an African cultural attribute that we have taken on because we are speaking about what has happened to us. They can speak about hang on. And so no. You say you cannot say because we don't know how they actually speak about what they are facing. We can speak about what we are facing.
About it, and the reason why we don't hear about it, right, is because of the sort of repressive regimes that they have in those places.
I don't think so. Hang on, let me go back to Russell Singh. Russell Singh, my brother, as you can hear, my brother, he has never suffered racism. Do you think, and it's just like your young children who's been taken away from the state, and those who are taking our children away, they can speak on behalf of parents. They themselves haven't got children. They take our children away, and they know what is right for our children, and they don't bear a child. This brother has never witnessed racism. Russell Singh, have you ever witnessed Russell Singh, have you ever witnessed racism in this country? And how would you define racism, my brother?
My dear Nana Kongobai, those of us who came to England on the Windrush, the history is there. The evil of the European, the British, ordinary British. We're not talking about high society British. The ordinary British man mentality is that he's superior to the black man. And when we came up there, he was willing to completely wipe us out. And as for myself, I came to England in 1970. And I have never experienced racism in Jamaica. I've experienced classism. But when I came to London, that's when I've experienced it from every level, from the schooling, the education, the fact that we pass our exam and the teacher mark us less, all manner of things. So for this brethren to say he's lived in London or in England for 40 years and never experienced racism, then I must question his own mentality because he must have been living in a very strange world. He couldn't have been living in England because one way or another, whether it's at the workplace, the school, wherever it was, we knew what racism was. And racism is when one race feels that it is superior and therefore it gives them privileged position against the so-called inferior race. That is what racism is, my brother. And within the whole European system, it is totally racist because that is how they maintain their position of evil amongst us.
Russell Singh, thank you. Let me take a call. 871. Good afternoon, on Galaxy.
Yeah, afternoon.
To you too, family.
Yeah, rise up, man. It's me, man.
Yes, Barefoot. Yes, Barefoot. Yes, Barefoot. Me and you. Come in.
Yeah, man.
Barefoot, you're in this country for a very long time.
60 years.
Friday we celebrate Parents and Ancestral Day, and we venerate them and for the work that they have carried out while they were here and what they have suffered. Those who have passed away here and those who have been back to the Caribbean, Stroke Africa, and died without the memory. And so we memorize them and send their present, the ancestral spirit to them. Well, we've got a brother here on the line who said we are living in a racist world, and he thinks that we are too brutal the way we speak about European. Barefoot, you've been here for this country for a long time. Have you suffered racism?
No, let me tell you.
Let me hear you. Okay.
60 years me there.
Nana.
1962, I come here. Under British rule, British passport and all them things there. And I still had to apply for citizenship. Or to pay for it, go justice of the peace and all them things there. You know? And to hear somebody come here and say they never got through racism, right? It's a blasted lie. Every day it's on the media You can see it. You can see how people is treated on the street, in the school, as Russ Ocean say. In all institution, I see it. And I got through with the National Front and all that. Get beaten on the street. I have stitches in my head to show fight. Yeah. And when they said they come for the puppy show and them going through this platinum thing. You know, how can you wrap your, like that African brother up on the television, wrap himself in the suit and him high glass and all them thing there? You know, it's a blasted disgrace to us. A damn disgrace. And I tell you what as well, to cream it all off now, look at how the royal people treat Meghan Markle. Yeah?
Oh, wow.
Look at that. And you're gonna wrap yourself in a flag and wear 3 lions on your shirt. There's 3 dogs that should have on them shirt to ride. Where the 3 lions come from? It's extreme racism, and anybody here, even the one that born yesterday or a few years ago, to say they don't see racism. A blasted liar. Because you see it every day to rot it, every day. If you don't go through it, you can see it in the media. And you can feel it. So when the rotted cloth them I talk about, there's no racism. Eh?
I'm coming to you, brother Gabe. Let me just let Barefoot finish.
So the only thing one of the brothers ring up and say, we have to reach out to other communities. Because I'm from a Indian and African background from the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I think the Indians from the Caribbean have been forgotten. Because I've been called the P word, the Paki word, everything over here, so because me look a bit like the Indians them too, you see? So we're melanated and we shouldn't forget that.
True.
We shouldn't forget the Caribs.
And we will not, my brother, because we are struggling, and we are one people right now on the same boat, and we are struggling, and we have to speak up and support each other.
That's what me have to say.
Well, you have said it, and thank you. Let me bring in brother Gabe, as you want to come in. Brother Gabe, my brother, you want to come in. I can see you off mute, and so let me hear your opinion, and then we go to brother Kwame. Come in, brother Gabe.
Yeah. Thank you, Nana. Nana, my spirit is raised, you know, and I truly believe that our ancestors are not happy with the fact that we have African people willing to concede and work with their murderers. The murderers of our ancestors. I'm hearing our African people right here, right now, trying to convince other Africans that we should see some of them as benevolent and some of them of helpers. And I want to remind everybody, if you are in the business, whether it's a legal business to you, my brother Grant, and you have a white man or lawyer or QC that may assist, understand that raises his profile. They do this for their own benefit. They don't love us. They can never love us. They don't appreciate us. They can never appreciate us. And they have a history, their fathers, of hating us and murdering us. So I am shocked, brothers. I'm really shocked to hear the position you're coming with. And one of our strongest,
or for more information about delivery of text messages to landlines,
Bobby Wright, said white people have a psychopathic racial personality. And he lost just hang up. I'll land on that, Chief.
Thank you very much, family. Thank you kindly. Let me go to Brother Kwame. Brother Kwame. Brother Kwame?
Yeah, thank you, Bashna. Yeah, thank you, Nana. So, you know, a lot of what I've heard today is an apologetic for the odd white Caucasian sympathizer who may have a kindred spirit with African people. I am an Ashanti and I'm a Pan-African, and I make no apology for saying that all white people are Afrophobic. I don't use the term racist. Afrophobic, yeah? And like I said, please go and get on YouTube Jane Elliott on Oprah Show. She's a white woman of 40 years psychological and psychiatric experience. 40 years, and she's also author of the book Blue Eye, Brown Eye Test. She said in Oprah, you can go just do it for yourself and check it out.
No.
But
I'm coming to you, the person who's calling, and I'm going to come to you.
We have to make our own chart, our own destiny. Yes, maybe some people, but like I said to those white sympathizers, it's no point sympathizing with us if you are not prepared, and I emphasize this, if you are not prepared to destroy the system of white terrorism that you benefit from as a so-called sympathizer that disables the quality of life for African people globally. Yeah, it's not enough to sympathize. It's not enough to sign a petition. It's not enough to come with a First of Messiah march. It's not enough to come with a Black Lives Matter march. You need to be, as a Caucasian white people, educating your own people, and two, do whatever you can, use your so-called quote-unquote white privilege to destroy the system of white terrorism. And we know that you will never do that, because if you did that, then it means your very existence will be diminished.
All right, Brother Kwame.
As I said, our ancestor, the great Francis Cress Rosen. White people are a minority on this planet, and they do what is in their genetic survival instinct. So you may think that they have a sympathy with us, but underneath the radar, there is always an agenda with Caucasian people.
Hang on, Brother Kwame. Hang on, stick up in. Brother Kwame, you know, when you speak, you must give ear to others, because there are many people on the line at the moment. Someone who's saying Nana. Who's been calling Nana?
Nana. That's 184. That's me, Nana. If in response to both Brother Kwame and Brother Jeff, look, you know, I'm not singing white people praises, far from it. And by the way, Brother Geb, I don't use no lawyers, black or white, when I represent myself in all my legal affairs. The fact is, Chief, based on what these two brothers are saying, on principle alone, the white person who you mentioned that donates to Galaxy, you should not accept their donation. Their donation. You know what I'm saying? On principle and integrity, if that be the case. So because throughout the show, Brother Kwame has referred to this white woman. I've seen the record or the video myself, and indeed, people like that are reaching out. They're using their platform to reach out. They're not reaching out to our people. They're reaching out to their people, to let them know. When she asked the question about which one of anyone in this audience would live the life or accept the treatment of black people, she's opening the minds and consciences of her own people.
That is
now,
true.
what are we saying? Are we going to condemn her for doing what she's doing? If she's prepared to stand there and speak up on my behalf in helping me getting my message across, you know, before cameras, before the facility of phone cameras and so on and so forth, we spoke about, for instance, police brutality, but no one listened. It's only when we have this camera footage now, we have instant camera, and we're able to show everybody. When we talked about racism, no one listened.
Okay.
But because it's on the platform now, because we have a medium now, because they can't move without hearing about it, knowing about it, experiencing it, or knowing a victim of it. Yeah. So then their conscience is, as I said earlier on, Frederick Douglass said, until those who are unaffected by injustice becomes as outraged as those who are, nothing will change. So we need them to become outraged, so that the system the racist system that we live in and live under can change.
All right.
We're not.
I hear your point. I take your point. Let me go back to Russell Sings. Russell Sings, you see, you hear what Brother Carl said. I don't know if you've seen that clip. I might have to dig it up, my brother. But as Brother Kwame, I'll give a direction where others can see it. But what Brother Carl have now openly said, that this European was opening the mind of European who were in the audience and asked them if they would live the life of an African, and not one of them raised their hand up. But Brother Kwame have now said that how many Europeans are working on behalf to support what is happening, what their people have done to us. That is one person who's now showing that she prepared to work with her department to create some kind of unity for what we have suffered. Do you agree or disagree with what Brother Carl said or what Brother Kwame added to the argument this evening?
Well, I'm more in agreement with Brother Carl, because when His Imperial Majesty, when Ethiopia was under the tyranny invasion of Italy through Mussolini, it was the Europeans realizing that his prophetic word that was spoken at the League of Nations, it was them eventually that put pressure on their government in order to assist to remove Mussolini. So you see, I go by the philosophy and teaching of His Imperial Majesty. I know what racism is, and I know that it is entrenched in the European race because their history has defined all the evil that they've done. Right? But in this generation, when we have information which is more available, that ones, as what Brother Carl says, that even them are now realizing for themselves what they've been doing to our people all over creation. So you see, we are moved on in a sense that the region that has now been defined, that is our kingdom. We don't build mansion, we build kingdom. And right now, the entire regions that has now been confirmed, that is what we are now working everything in. Our sovereignty is not for charity, just like our dignity is not for charity, my brother. And those of us who know who are earth rightful rulers will know what I'm speaking about. And that is where we are.
Okay.
Nana Akombabai.
Okay, family.
Right, we're in a very, unprecedented moment of all humanity, nation. We've seen the COVID conspiracy, the depopulation of all nations, not just Africa. We saw the one world order and what is the plan of it. So therefore you'll see it has no preference of color, my brother. Well, so whilst we continue fighting the color of a man's skin, I will look at a man by the action, because right here in Jamaica, we have so much corrupted ones amongst us, and they are not white, they're not Chinese, they're not Jews, they're not Indian, they look just like we. Nana Akongobai. They look just like us.
Okay.
And you're thinking, how can one look like us be so evil amongst us?
We will get through to that, my brother, but we're talking about, what we are facing here in this country and around the world as African. Let me take a call from 759. 759, good afternoon to you. You're in Galaxy.
Yes, Nana, I've been listening.
And you're in a very poor area, my brother. Your signal is now cutting out. You're in a poor area.
You can hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, I said I've been listening to the show attentively.
Yes.
I've been listening to the comments.
By the way, stop. Let me stop you there. By the way, you're not allowed to use that word. That's my word. Attentively. Right. Go on. You can borrow it for this occasion. You can borrow it.
You know how I've been listening attentively.
Yes.
I've been listening with different kind of emotions, actually.
Okay.
If I'm being honest.
Mm.
The brother that called, who to me must be an elder, because if he came here, he's been here 40 years. That individual has been here a very long time, and I'm not gonna call him a liar, because I'm not gonna be rude to my elder. Yeah.
Well, he's still on the line. He's still on the line. Hang on, stick up in 563. Are you still on the line?
Yeah.
Or he's still here, but he's still here, Prophet. Madoti.
Yeah.
Continue.
Yeah, I want to communicate with him a bit.
Go ahead.
I'm not going to call him a liar because everybody have a different what they call experience. But I do find it extraordinary that the elder said he has not experienced. And listen to the word, experience racism.
Mm-hmm.
You do not have to have racism pushing at your face for you to experience it.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I say? You can experience racism just by seeing chains of events.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've seen Africans being abused by Europeans in whatever form, whether they be in uniform or not, if you've been in a working environment and you have seen it, then you have experienced it. Not because it never happened to you, mean you did not experience it. So I find it very extraordinary. I mean, if you sit down and you watch the news and you hear of racist attacks and you have heard of these various racist attacks, then you have experienced it because you've seen it, you've heard it. It's part of your experience. If you've never seen or heard it, then that's a different argument. But if you have seen it, if you've heard about it, even if somebody expressed to you that this happened to them, then you have experienced it. That's the first thing. The second thing is, I find it extraordinary that we would be on the radio defending Europeans. Europeans can defend themselves as they have proven that they can defend themselves. And let me give you a scenario here. Europeans
hold on 1 second before we lose the first two questions, right?
No, I didn't ask a question. I made a statement. It was not a question.
I would like to refer to, let's say, the first one, right? You can wait a minute for the third one that you're coming in with, right?
Go on.
When my friend asked me whether I am assuming that he's saying that does I personally experience those racism, right? Like racism from police, etc., right? I'm saying I have not, right, to the extreme, personally, right? But I do see, if you're talking about experience in terms of seeing it with my own eyes on TV or down the road or wherever, I have seen that. So if you're talking about experience in that sense, yes then, right? But
all right. One second, Elder, 1 second. You see, Elder, everything that I do now in this time, in this moment, in this part of my existence, I do it through an African eye. I do not do it for a Eurocentric mentality. And so let me explain, let me say why I said that to you. Because we have, within the African structure of Ubuntu, there is a saying. It says, I am because we are. And because we are, therefore I am. Meaning that I exist because you existed. I exist because you exist because of I. So the fact that you witnessed that with your own eyes, whenever I've witnessed it with my own eyes, and when I see that, it angers me. It moves me. Because I feel like it's happening to me.
But I feel exactly the same way too. I feel like too. I've got friends who have told me. I've got friends who've been through police brutality, right? And I feel set as if it happens to me. Yeah, go on.
Elder, with due respect, Elder, as my beloved Nana said, I sat on this. I'm sat on this line for half an hour. I said nothing. I interrupted no one. I would ask you to afford me the same privilege, please. And that way we don't argue, we don't have to shout. We don't have to shout to get our things across. Although sometimes I do. Now, the point I'm trying to make to you, Elder, is that, you see, we are learning, Elder, and we're all learning from each other here. Whether we agree with each other's position or not, we are all learning. And what I'm saying to you, that when you said you did not personally experience it. The fact that you stood up and you witnessed that, you personally experience it. Because if you feel that pain, you have personally experienced that. Not because the man never thump you in a fear mouth. Means that you not feel that pain there. For the brother or sister you see being abused. Do you understand me? Because if we take that line that it never personally happened to us, we would still be in them concentration camps, them called plantations. Because many a times there were Africans who were not abused personally, like physically, because maybe the enslaver preferred them or whatever the case may be. But when they saw injustice, it was the one that they least expect to rise up, rose, and chop off the brother head. You understand me, I say? And so my point is this. Is that we should not be on this radio station as Africans defending Europeans under no circumstances. Now, in saying that, you have got Europeans who are sympathizers to our cause. They've always been there. But they are never in the position of power to make change.
True.
And we're not talking about them. What we're talking about is their system. Their system functions with or without them. Hence why when Rachel Singh says it's not white people killing us in Jamaica, it's people that look like me and you. Yes, but those people that look like me and you works within the confines of their system. You understand? It's the system that they export to the different parts of the world. And anybody, including their own, who don't roll with that system is their enemy. Now, if we left things to the natural course of nature, they would be absorbed because they are the last to enter the human pool, so to speak, on this planet. They are the least number. They reproduce the least. You understand what I'm saying to you? So if we left things, hold on, Elder. If we left things to the natural order of things, they would naturally be consumed. And they know that. Hence why, they make weapons of mass destruction, because they know that if it came to the battlefield, and their weapons were not superior enough, they would be permanently eradicated. And I'm gonna be very controversial with my landing point. Bob Marley was a great reggae artist. In that, there is no doubt. But let me say, Bob Marley was of mixed heritage. And so when Bob Marley made that statement, until a man is not judged by the color of his skin or the color of his eye,
and those words wasn't his.
Say that because, that was His Imperial Majesty.
That's it.
Word.
Yes.
Yeah, that was Imperial Majesty. But when he sang that tune and said it, and even when His Imperial Majesty said that, His Imperial Majesty spent years in England, you know.
Mm-hmm.
England, him come sit down, you know, in a bath, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Right? When Mussolini and them boy they invade.
Don't take too long, because we want to let the elder finish. Don't take too long, Prophet.
Because I'm not going to get any time.
Let me finish.
Yes.
Let me land. I don't want to stray anyway. Let's stick on the point. The point I'm making is this. I'm with, and on this occasion, I am with Brother Kwame and Brother Geb.
Okay.
I have no time to worry about them, because they're in a better position to worry about themselves and to defend themselves. When we get control of Mother Africa, and when we are in total control, then we can exercise that kind of mentality.
Words of Imperial Majesty.
We have to be survival mode. Okay.
Give thanks. Elder, come back, Elder. Let me recognize 234. We know you're there. Elder, speak so we can come back to 234. Go ahead, Elder. You want to respond?
I am not, with respect, I am not going to accept this accusation.
It's an accusation.
Me, someone like me, right, speaking for white people or defending white people. That is totally, completely unacceptable. I spent many years, right, studying and reading about Africa, which has cost me, even my relationship has been cost me. So, well, one of my relationships by spending so much time, right, trying to be an African, knotting up my head and all these sort of things. All right, I am not accepting that charge, right, and I equally want Africa to be free, and if it means the world coming to an end to get that, I am ready for that. So I am not accepting the statement you've made with respect. Okay? I gave a lot of time, right, 40 years or more, right, in dealing with these things and Africanness. I've been involved in countless discussions. Some of them go on for nearly even all 24 hours, late in at night and so on, right, about Africa's problems and even about white people destructionness and so on, and other people too, right? So, with respect, I am not accepting that, and that is not, right, that is a destructive accusation, I would say, with respect. Okay?
Okay.
Not defending no right.
Hang on, Prophet, because our time is short and I don't want you to take it into a different direction.
I just want to say one thing now.
No, let me just say it to you, because you're going to move soon, right? Because I haven't got much, I don't get much time, right, to say what I'm saying, right? I've got to just make it brief, right? Okay, like I said, I'm not accepting that, right? I support Africa 100%, and I'm not giving up the idea, never give up the idea, right, that we need to, at times, work together. Where did all these guns come from that helps us in our liberation, or well, we may call it so-called liberation of in Africa? Where did all these guns come from? It comes from other white people who had problems with other white people, right? Where did certain support come from? I am not accepting.
Hang on, the person who's calling brother call. Hang on, we're gonna get to you. Right, Prophet, Elder, stick up in, Elder, because you now brought the program into a kind of a different direction. Prophet, you want to respond to the Elder before we go to the person who's calling brother call? Yeah. And 234, we know you're there.
This is Russell Singh.
Hang on, Russell Singh. Yes, Prophet.
All I would say to the Elder is this, yeah? The comments that has been made today on this station was based upon the statement that he made himself.
Yes.
Nobody never called him that until he made that statement, and that's all I got to say.
Give thanks. Give thanks.
Lead to that misunderstanding. I've clarified.
Right, yes, Elder. We hear you, Elder. We hear you.
What they're talking about.
You can ring my show on Thursday evening. You can ring my show on Thursday evening, and we can continue this conversation.
Okay, then what time?
9 p.m. Thursday evening.
Okay, all right, yes, I'll do that.
Okay, let's bring in Russell Singh. Stick up in, my brother. Stick up in. 234, you've been waiting for some time. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to you, President Babai, panel.
My sister. Our time is running very short, so short, and I've got you holding on for a long time. So make your point, please.
To the Elder, did he not witness George Floyd in the pandemic? And also, does he know what colorism is? Has he heard of colorism? Because I witnessed, and all the world witnessed George Floyd during the pandemic COVID-19. What does he think about that?
Well, let's not. He's going to call the Prophet on Thursday, and I'm sure this discussion is going to go a long way because he has opened up a can of worms pertaining to the question that I've asked him, and so I'm sure he will respond to those questions, my sister.
Yes, and I hope you will be able to play back the show before Prophet show on Thursday.
The prophet will be able to take off my show and actually use if he want to make a clip so the elder can hear himself. So my sister, Ashe, give thanks, my sister. Brother Gabe, our time is running short, so let me have a final from you, my brother.
Nana.
Yes, family.
I asked the ancestors, and the ancestors answered my question. Thank you, Nana Quaco, for calling in, because that was what I asked the ancestors to do, and I appreciate the position that you have taken.
Give thanks. Give thanks. Give thanks, Brother Gabe. Brother Kwame, final.
Final is, I'm a Pan-Africanist, and I made no apology for that. I say.
Give thanks. Let me go to Prophet. You're still there, Prophet.
Yes, Nana, I'm still here.
Final. My time has come to an end. Let me get a final second or two from you.
Yeah, I would just like to say that, in no way are we dishonoring and disrespecting our elder. I want to make that clear to the elder first. But we can only make statements based upon, we can only make analysis on the statement that you have made. Nobody's negating what you have done. But when those statements are made, you have to remember, we're younger warriors than you, elder. And we got younger warriors underneath us. And we see what's happening. And as Nana Pakumbabai said, when you're going into war, you can't have no sympathy. And we are at war.
Exactly.
Simple as that.
Exactly. All right, family, leave it there. Leave it there. Let me take 184. Where are you?
Yes,
Yes,
I
Nana.
just want to say big thanks to everyone, but I'll just end on this, Nana, for Bye.
Yes.
As Brother Kwame has pointed out, and let me make it absolutely clear, I mean, now, defend white people, but as Brother Kwame has pointed out or referred to, the woman, the white woman, the Caucasian woman who has, conducted that survey or had that show.
It was a TV show she had.
Right. Okay. So
audience.
So whilst we continue our struggle, our battles, our fight, I would say that we welcome intervention like that, because where we haven't got.
Brother Carl, we've got very short time. I'm just giving you a few seconds to wind down.
Yes. So that's what I was.
All right, my brother. Thank you very much. Russ Singh, my brother, you've got only a second or two. Let me hear you.
I can imagine. But as we said, Brother Carl's statement is what created the reaction. During the program, he has readjusted himself for us to have a better understanding of where it's coming from. So all things is well.
Give thanks, family.
As well.
Give thanks, family. We leave it there. Thank you very much for your participation in the program this afternoon. It's much appreciated, and we need to go into this strong discussion. And I like the fact that we can encourage each other, each one teach one. I like the fact that we integrate in such a way that we can reason, agree to disagree, but we live as a family. Thank you very much. Russell Singh, stay strong. The blessing. The brother has been here, always here, hour before his time, and I've already taken 4 minutes out of his time. I'm going to now leave you into his capable hand. He'll be taking you right up until 6 this evening. Have a blessed evening. I'm out of here. Bye-bye.